Hey there. Welcome to Millennium.Milestone Presents, a site dedicated to storytelling in books, movies, video games, and other exciting genres, where I'm off to another island adventure.
Million volts of power. It's a mind warp. Frankenstein Island. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested.
What the hell was that?
Well, it's me again, your friendly neighborhood movie reviewer, back with another movie to look at. And no, I'm not doing Minions because, quite frankly, I have no care for Minions, but I will eventually get to that. Eventually. But we're going to get into Moana. I did have to first off watch the original classic animated version 10 years ago because I never actually watched that one to get a little bit more context to when I saw the live action version, which we're going to check out right now. Set in ancient Polynesia, Moana, played by Catherine Lagaye, is the story of a strong-willed teenager who is chosen by the ocean to restore a mystical relic to the goddess Tefiti. When a blight threatens her island and the entire tribe along with her family, Moana is guided by her grandmother Tala to set sail on an epic journey to find the legendary demigod Maui, played by Dwayne Johnson, who stole the heart of Tefiti from the beginning. She, along with her rooster companion Hehe, and with Maui's reluctance, have to find a way to the mother island to Tefiti to return the heart and save her people.
What? But you can't do this to me.
You know how much I sacrificed?
Well, those abysmal numbers might tell you how much you sacrificed, Disney. And sorry, I'm not trying to constantly knock down a company here at the $1 billion company or something like that. But it is interesting to note that it was only 10 years ago we had the original adapted Moana. And it wasn't like it was old or out of style or anything like that. The animation is up to par. So why, oh why, did we needed a live-action version of an animated film that was absolutely successful to begin with?
Good question. For another time.
And maybe that's what I'm trying to drive at in terms of this. Because on one hand, I don't have a problem with the story structure of Moana. I don't even have a problem with this being a female-centric character. There is a place for that, and there are people that will go in droves to see movies like this. So that's fine. That's not a problem with me. What I do find interesting is you already went to this well with the animated version. It was a success. So why double dip on the same exact movie with the same exact structure and expect a different result? As if you were going to get more fans. That is the part that I never quite understood. And this is where I kind of want to dive a little differently with Moana. I already talked about in my review of Toy Story 5 about the egregious use of less male characters involved in their movies. So I'm not going to touch on that again since I already talked about that. But if you want to check it out, you can always do so in my other video for Toy Story 5. But here, I want to talk about the misuse of adapting an IP. Now, for those of you who don't know, adapting an IP, and let me just clarify what an IP is, means intellectual property, is a creative process of transforming a source material, such as a novel, a play, or a medium, into film, television, or stage play. And this is essentially what Disney did. They took a already written or produced work and adapted it. The only problem with adaptations is people confuse adaptation with copying. And that's the problem I noticed very obviously with this Moana film. It's just a copy paste of the adapted work. There isn't anything new added. There isn't anything fundamentally different about this Moana film. I have no problem with the live action actors that are in this movie or any of the set pieces or the visuals. They're all very stunning, just like the animated version. But my argument isn't about whether this looks visually good. It's about whether it was adapted good. Was there something stylistically different that made this Moana unique from the Moana you made in the animated version? And that I didn't get with this film. And I feel kind of bad for Disney/Moana fans specifically, because you clearly loved this film. You liked it when it came out initially 10 years ago. But apparently you're not in droves this time around, at least for the opening weekend that we're seeing in the box office numbers. Now, that might change. Who knows? Maybe you're coming in the following week, but mind you, The Odyssey is coming out, and not too long after that, so is Brand New Day from Spider-Man. So that is going to make Moana fight very hard for any ground at the box office right now with other movies that are out as well. So I think that's what I really wanted to hone in on, is the fact that I feel bad for many of you fans of Moana, because if you went to buy a ticket and watch this, what did you get of value out of your money's worth buying a ticket, going to the theater, and watching something that you already can see on your Disney Plus purchase, or if you own a DVD or a copy or a physical copy of the movie? What did you get out of this movie that was so different? And like I said with Toy Story 5, if you're a huge fan of Disney movies and you still want to go see us despite what I'm telling you, I'm not telling you not to go. Please use your money as you feel fit to do. If you really love Disney movies, if you are an absolute loyalist to Disney, then please do so. But if you really are expecting more out of your money's worth, which is what I was talking about just a few moments ago, ask yourself, could they have written more scenes in this movie? Could they have added something to the story that could have been different? Or if all else fails, if you're going to do a Moana-based movie, why not do a whole new story that's separate from the previous two films? That maybe could have given Moana fans something unique and different. Like, for instance, you could have given us some backstory on Te Fiti as to who she is and why she became what she was. You could have done that. You could maybe rearrange a little bit of the story behind Maui and Te Fiti. And I'm not saying it has to be a romance. You could do that route, or you could have, at the very least, had it that they had a romance, kind of broke up, and moved on, and made amends for whatever wrongs they did to one another, like they did in the animated film. Again, I'm just saying, these are things I'm spitballing as ideas you could have done. I noticed the pig was at the beginning of both the animated film and the live-action version, but really didn't play much of a role in this. Could you had the pig go along in that adventure with Moana along with the rooster? I mean, I know it would have looked like another Disney trope of sidekick characters, but I'm sorry, I'm a huge fan of sidekick characters. I love my Pumbaa and Timons and other sidekick characters that are used in any animated film. So have at it, throw the pig in there and make it a little different. That's all I'm basically saying here. And again, in terms of the story structure, I don't have a problem with Moana being the central character. She's great. She wants to save her people. That's definitely a good thing to do. I would never have a problem with that. I love that her journey to becoming a hero was not easy. She had to learn and make mistakes along the way. That's something that's very rare with a lot of these movies that we have with female characters. So I give Disney credit, at least in this regard, that this character has flaws that are unique and relatable, at the very least, with her. Now, I know this is not necessarily a fair comparison, but if you want to look at a good adaptation, I would argue that Peter Jackson, how he handled The Lord of the Rings, is probably one of the best adaptations out there. It's not perfect. It has its flaws, and people do nitpick about a few things he did, at least with the initial Lord of the Rings trilogy. But if you want to look for a good example, look at how he handled that and how he took certain aspects of the film. Or if you want an even better version of an adaptation, look at Daniel Villanueva, who did the Dune movies. They aren't a perfect adaptation of the books. The books are convoluted with so many different stories, but he took the right aspects and is weaving at least a decent story here. So again, the ability to adapt something and give us something unique and different is there. It's when you go from animated to live action, what are you giving us that's of value? As for my final thoughts on the movie Moana, again, the story structure, not terrible at all. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I think it's passing for a good story structure. I like the character of Moana in this. I think she's an excellent female-centric character, and I think it's one of the better films that has utilized a female-centric character in the right way. I mean, there are some nuances here and there that are still noticeable, but nothing too egregious that I'm willing to even mention that I haven't already said in Toy Story here. However, in terms of rating this, specifically, I'm rating this the live action version, not the animated version, as poor. because of how it adapted the animated version. It just basically was a copy paste. And for me, if you're going to adapt something, give us something unique. Give us something that really stands out from a live action, from an animated version. Don't just give us the same thing, because basically you're just stealing money from us for nostalgia and nothing more for this movie. But hey, if you guys think I might be wrong about my opinion, you're welcome to tell me. If you think there's something you notice that makes this movie more acceptable as an adaptation, let me know. Maybe you see better examples. I'm going to hear those as well in the comments. But as always, like, share, and subscribe, and you best better believe I'll be back for the next one.